Okay, everybody welcome Tom Reese, who's getting his food back there, and he's going to be speaking to us about the breadbasket. But say hi to Tom.
Hey,
Okay, and just a quick note, the Pots of Gold tickets are out in distribution. I know Lisa's been trying to catch up with everybody. If you don't have an envelope, they were put together by Van, who was our super salesman. He took 50 right off the top. And we'll probably sell more than that. He's down in Florida on vacation, and you bet he's got his tickets with him.
Did anyone not get their envelope yet?
Everybody got the envelope?
Be honest.
Well, Tom didn't get one, but I don't.
This is rough. We're supposed to be honest.
Tracy, can we start with our invocation?
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your blessings upon us and upon this club. We pray that you continue to bless each member in our efforts. Lord, we pray for our country, our military, our leaders, and all of our first responders. It's in Jesus' name we pray. We pray you bless us food to our bodies. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Tracy. And Yogi. You know, Yogi plays some outfield. And when at Yankee Stadium at this time of year, it's a tough outfield because there's a lot of shadows and it's tough to pick up the ball. And Yogi responded this way by saying, "It gets late early out here." Yeah, you know, he really is going to be best because he has some wonderful way of using the English language. But we've got a book to remember him by, and we will do our best to do that throughout the year. Are we fortunate today? Because who's doing the M&M? Everybody know who's doing the M&M? Robert's doing it. Yeah. And so we are very much looking forward to the life history of Robert. Robert?
Mary. All right, I'm going to follow the script. Random act of kindness. Well, I'm a neighbor of Jay. Kathy and I drive up Spring Lane all the time. We notice that there's a stretch of Spring Lane. It's the other side of Bud Taylor's berm. It's out the face of Spring Lane, and somebody had dumped trash. I mean, it was a string of trash all along this berm. And so drive up and down Spring Lane.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
You may have run on the back of your trailer, possibly. Anyway, so Kathy's always coming, that trash looks awful. You know, when's it ever going to get picked up and who's going to do it? And so on Labor Day, Kathy went shopping with her sister, and I got dressed up for it, got all sprayed down, went over there with a couple of garbage bags and picked up all the trash. And was thinking the whole time, please don't get snake bit. Because we have a joke in our family that no good deed goes unpunished. So usually when we're doing something like that, something happens to us. But anyway, so I managed to complete that little project and thought the next time we drove down Spring Lane, Kathy would say, "Well, look, all that trash has been in." She hadn't said a word. So that's my gift to Kathy and to the environment. For all of you. It's for all of you. So, I joined the Jonseboro Rotary Club when it was organized. We chatted about this recently when its anniversary was observed, and I was a charter member. I was eager to get in the Rotary Club. I'm not from Sanford. I'm from Statesville. You'll hear about that in a minute, but wanted to be in a civic club, and so I've been practicing law here a few years as a newcomer, and it's what you did. You wanted to be in a civic club. You wanted to be plugged in to what was going on. I didn't want to be in the Rotary Club because a lunchtime meeting was going to suit my schedule better. I was teaching a class at community college. I was refereeing basketball, and so I didn't really have many nights. So I wanted to be in the lunchtime club, and I'd had a warm spot in my heart for Rotary since high school because the Rotary Club in Statesville had sent me and another guy to youth leadership camp up in Brevard, North Carolina for a week in the summer before our senior year. So that was special to me. I got to meet some guys and ended up seeing them again in college. They became fraternity brothers. They're still my friends. That was a good week. And so the Rotary Club was something I had a good feeling for, so I was eager to be a part of it. Roddy Campbell was my sponsor. And of course, Bill Lawrence was the guy that headed up the new club and a group of eager folks, because it was hard to get in the Rotary Club back then. We talked about this before. If the categories were filled, you didn't get in. And so I was a lawyer, the categories were filled, and nobody was close to death, so I was going to have to wait to get in the Rotary Club until the Sanford Club was kind enough to create the Jonseboro Club, and it's been a great experience to be part of the Jonseboro Club for all these years. Okay, I was born in 1950. I was born in Statesville, North Carolina. If you were born in 1950, there's a good chance that your dad was a veteran of World War II and had survived, and that your mom had done something on the home front, while her loved one was overseas, hoping he'd come back. So a lot of us were, those baby boomers who were in that situation. So the 50s was a good time to grow up. It really was. The country was recovering. The economy was picking back up. It was a good time to be a kid. I mean, you played cowboys, you ran around, you rode your bike, you went whatever you wanted to. You waited for the ice cream truck to come by. It was, it was really a great time to be a kid. So I was fortunate in that respect. My dad was a grocer. He ran a small grocery store, what I would call the poor side of town, the side of town where he had grown up in Statesville. And so I got the privilege when I was 13 to get pulled into the grocery business and started working there in the summertime when my friends were going to swimming pool. I was working at the grocery store and worked there in the afternoons, after school, during high school when I wasn't playing sports, and attended Statesville High School. And I'll just drop you a little tidbit. I'll make it a program one day. But a French teacher made a comment to me when I was a junior that literally set me on a course of events that why I'm in Sanford, probably why I'll die in Sanford. It's all of this just from a comment that a French teacher made to me, but that's a longer story, so you'll hear that another time maybe.
Sign him up, Dave.
Anyway, just another one of those stories of how something starts you, in serendipity, and all of a sudden, all this stuff happens, and you end up being in a place, and that's all because of this comment from this lady. Got a scholarship to, when I finished high school, I got a scholarship.
You're not going to tell us what she said?
That's a
For
program.
all that?
That's a new program.
Yeah, that's for another time.
another
The comment itself will not seem strange to you, but it absolutely does, changed my life. Got a scholarship, fortunate enough to win a scholarship to Chapel Hill. I didn't know where Chapel Hill was. I've never been to Chapel Hill. Like I said, I grew up in Statesville. I had just a real local, small town sort of mentality. So Chapel Hill, you know where it was. Got to visit before I actually went to school there, but ended up obviously loving it. So I got to go to school there at Chapel Hill. Majored in journalism in English. I was a journalism major, but now that's back in the day. When you went into journalism classes and they had royal manual typewriters on each desk with a slide bar that you hit, and the bell would go off. And that was journalism school back when I was in college. Now it's internet, everything is crazy. But I was a journalism major, print journalism and English. And I was a good student in high school, good student in college. Went on to law school, thought about going to the FBI. I was going to make law enforcement my career after I went to law school, but then I got married. Marriage changes everything, so FBI didn't look as promising. And just a short story, I went to work with Alan Harrington, who was my senior partner. He had been in the FBI, and so he sort of told me what an FBI career was going to be like, and so I just... not like it is on TV. And so I said, okay, mark that off. Don't have to do that. Chose law, looking back on it, just absolutely clueless about, and didn't have any lawyers in my family, didn't have any idea what lawyers did. I watched them on TV. I said, that looks like I could do that. And again, I was a good student. I didn't think I had the emotional package to be a physician. I didn't want to go that route, so I said, I'll just be a lawyer. And so, again, knew nothing about it. Found out when I got to law school something about it during those 3 years, and then really learned about it when I got to working here in Sanford for the folks that, in the same office that I first went to work for is now the office that I work. Came to Sanford because my wife got a teaching job here. Back in the day, we were graduating from Carolina together. She got the only opportunity for a job is to teach school in Sanford at that time. Teaching jobs were precious at that time. And so they said, you want to teach in Sanford, you got to live in Sanford. And so we said, okay. So we moved to Sanford, and I did the commute to law school for the 3 years up and down the road while Kathy was teaching school, and got a summer job with the office where I am right now. I had 2 job interviews my entire life. I had one when I was in law school just to see what the interview was like with a big firm that was not impressed by me. And then I had the interview the day I went into the office where I work now in the summer, saying I'd like a summer job. This is who I am. I live here. Like to work for you. I remember well the senior guy that I talked to on the telephone said, "We've already hired somebody for the summer. Why don't you come on down here and talk to us anyway?" And I thought, okay. Hung it up. I thought, what a waste of time. He just told me he hired somebody. I'm gonna go down there and waste my time. But went. He liked me. They made a spot for me. I'm still here. I mean, that's kind of the way it worked out. Another one of those things that you feel like somebody's guiding you through, or maybe it's luck. Who knows? So again, 2 job interviews my whole life. 40 years of law practice now. I have done, when I first started, did just anything. Did criminal, did litigation, really, I filed a Chapter 13 for somebody. I've done just about everything at the time, but now limited it now down to real estate, wills, trust, estate admins. But I got partners who do other stuff. So we're right behind the courthouse. Love to help you with legal matters if you are interested. My heroes, this is easy for me, it's my family. My dad, just tremendous work ethic. Had to leave school in 8th grade, shining shoes in his dad's barbershop when he was 7 years old. Just working at a glass factory when he was 11. Just a tremendous work ethic, and he wanted me to share it. So again, pulled me to the grocery store. 13, had to work somewhere in the grocery store, and I didn't obviously appreciate that as much as I did later. It did shape me and mold me with that work ethic, and it helped me develop my major career goal, which at that time sort of crystallized into, I got to find a job that does not work on Saturdays. That was it. That's the kind of vision that I had. So that's probably what got me into law school. So anyway, love my dad. He was the work ethic guy. My mom was the nurturer. She was the one that would say, "I love you." My dad didn't know how, but she was always there for me. Always there, making sure the stuff got done, all that kind of stuff. She was a great mom. And my wife. I have just been so blessed. Again, that hand's either been on me or I've been in the right spot at the right time. Somebody's dad got transferred at the right time because I got to meet, my wife, be a friend first, and have it blossom into love. And we've been a great team. She's been just awesome in terms of making sure the team is successful. With not only what jobs she's done, but our kids, everything. I've got my dear wife, Kathy. I've got 2 adult children. My daughter lives in Pleasant Garden. She's got 2 children of her own. She's got a 4 and a 6, and she married someone who's older, and had 4 children of his own. So there's a group of 6 now that she rides her on. 4 adult children and 2 small children. And my son Robbie is a mortgage loan officer for BB&T. He lives in Pittsburgh, works in Chapel Hill. His wife is a teacher at Horton Middle School in Pittsburgh, and he has a 8-month-old and a 3-year-old, 2 sons. And I'm proud of all those 4 grandchildren. You might not know about me. One of those responsibilities in the grocery store, I've told the story before, was stirring liver mush with a wooden stick as it cooked on the stove. 2 big pots of liver mush was part of my job. My dad would say, go stir the liver mush. And then trick back to back, stir the liver mush, put the lid back on, go do other things, time would pass, go stir the liver mush. And if you want to know what a liver mush stick looks like, after you've used it for about 10 years, this is what's left of one. It's thin in the middle because it's been beaten against the side of the pot as you do this, and it shrinks, because usually when they were new, they were larger than this, so I don't know where the rest of the stick actually goes. More fiber in the liver. More fiber. And I was, and back before we had professional theater in Lee County, we had footlight players, and so old timers might know this, but your drama was provided by a group of volunteer actors called Footlight Players, and this was before the temple was renovated. And we did the shows in the Arts Center, and so I was in one play, but I won Best Actor in 1983 in the Footlight Players for that one performance. And
You didn't go back?
Well, I wanted, I'll tell you, it was drama or marriage. Anybody will tell you, being in a play is a rush. It is a fun experience. You know, this was a musical, so you had to do dance, you had to sing, you had to do your lines, all this kind of stuff. You know, you're dancing with everybody and just having a big old time while your wife's home with 2 kids, one of whom got chicken pox and snowstorms. So, you know, while you're enjoying this theatrical experience, your wife's not digging it. So I got the accolades of that performance, and then I said, you know, marriage and my wife is more important than being in drama. So that's the one and only one I've ever been in. My wow moments, again, are family related. Driving away from the wedding reception with my wife, thinking, okay, you know, I'm getting to be with my wife, and that's supposed to be now. No, you know, we get to be together, and we're supposed to be together. So I can just remember that feeling of promise and joy and thankfulness of being able to be with her. And then the birth of my kids. You know, my daughter, when she was born, you know, Kathy and I were part of that Lamaze movement that was popular for like a minute. You know, when somebody came along and was convincing folks, you know, you ladies, you know, you shouldn't be taking medication while you're having babies. And so, you know, they were teaching these Lamaze classes, and they're dragging the guys into it, saying you got to be the breeding coach. And so we were doing all this stuff, and we go and Kathy goes through this labor forever, you know, with me trying to be the breeding coach, but Jill is born, and it's just absolutely just the most wonderful experience. And there's nothing like, you know, guys, you know, when you're there and the miracle of life, it just absolutely makes you forget about everything else but what a God gift that is. And so that's number 2. Number 3, when my son was born, I thought, okay, I know this works. You know, this can't be as exciting as it was the first time, but it actually was, because of some adventures in the birth process. So when Robbie came along, I was absolutely as sky high as I was when Jill was born. I would just say this in summary about Rotary. One reason I hung in Rotary as long as I have, I still think Rotary and civic clubs in general, I'm going to slam the others, but being part of a civic club, I just, you know, preach in the choir, but I mean, you're connected to your community. You learn about your community. You find out what nonprofits in your community are doing. You find out about stuff international, because you come into a meeting and somebody presents you a program, and you learn stuff you would never learn any other way. You are surrounded by good men and women, you know, who are just good people, who are interested in serving their community and have similar desires, want to be connected, want to know, want to be part of the community, want to interact with one another. I mean, it's just good stuff. So that's my Rotary promo. Thank you.
The rainbow.
Lord, thank you. So I'll take
Following.
I used to sell these. I had to organize all of them.
Yes.
There weren't
Yeah,
3 kinds back when I was in the grocery store.
Wonderful. You know, I think one of the things we ought to do is have a special award for our club called the Liver Mush Award for the Rotarian that stirs it up as much as Robert did. What a great example. We have checks. After our board meeting, we approved checks for the Boys and Girls Club, and Dana we'll wait. Dana will come in next week, and we'll give the check to her for next week. But we also have 8 seats at the Boys and Girls Club dinner on the 22nd. I won't take the time to sign up, but we'll make sure that we fill those seats. And for the Boy Scout dinner, the following week on the 29th, so we want to fill that up. And while Kevin is here, Kevin, would you accept the check? And then I'll take it right back if you want me to. To get it to the right people. But Kevin does so much for the Boys and Girls Club. We wanted to give him the check. And then, and Kevin, would you help us to get 8 Rotarians at the dinner on the 29th? We'll talk about it later. Yes. Okay, great. I'll skip the board notes because we want to leave enough time for our speaker, for Tom. And I have, I think there's about 10 cookbook sign-ups. I'll send this around again. I would like, before we send this in, to have maybe 15 or 20 books that we can send in to support both. They're going to support the Alzheimer's and Polio Plus with proceeds. So please order a couple books. Salvation Army, you're doing really well. There are all kinds of activities going on. We got the mailing for Thanksgiving. And have we made enough connections for you, or do you need more?
Anybody you know that might be interested in ringing the bell, I'd love to speak to you. Any groups, some of you have given me some contacts, I appreciate that. And in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have a whole list of kids that we're helping for Christmas. Anybody like to adopt some of these kids and purchase toys and clothing for them? I'd love to speak to you about that as well too. So I appreciate the club support, appreciate the club being at our event last week, and I'm just thankful for Rotary.
We're proud to have you as a member here.
So thank you.
You're doing a wonderful job. Ushers for the 7th of November for the patriotic music at Depot Park. Especially if you're a vet, they would really like to have Rotarians, about 10 of us. But if you're a vet in your Rotary t-shirt with some kind of indication of what service you were in, they really want us to be a part of it. We've got time, we'll push it later on. And I want to remind you too of the foundation dinner on the 11th. I'm going to go. Are there any others that want to go with me to the foundation dinner? And the speaker is going to be Jennifer Jones, who will be a future president of Rotary International, I would guess, in the next 4 or 5 years. She's a very dynamic speaker. So we'll review that in the next couple of meetings, but we'd like to have 4 or 5 go up. And lastly, just to let you know, Yvonne's done a lot of work on family or Rotary events, and the one that would be kind of fun, you want to mention something about the 29th of October, what you and Stacy were thinking about? The dress-up stuff? October? Yeah. Yeah.
No, this was February.
Yeah, well, you had, you sent me a note with something for every month, and I think that followed the Halloween theme that we had a few years ago, and Jeff, I'm sure, is going to come as a priest again.
Okay, yes.
She does it all?
The dress is your favorite character.
Okay, yeah, we'll cover that later too. So I would like at this point to introduce Tom. I've known Tom, I think initially because of my sister who goes to church with Tom, and she introduced me probably 10 years ago. And I know he's very, very well connected in the community, but one of the places that he's most connected, I think so anyway, is the bread basket. Now, we do a lot of it at the bread basket. We serve for years on Fridays. We do the New Year's breakfast, or is it breakfast or lunch? Lunch. Yeah, and we've done that for years. So our club has been very connected with Tom and the bread basket. One of the things that we wanted to do is to try to help a little bit more financially. So when we met in the summer about how to get active and things to do, the chicken barbecue was what we wanted to do to bring us as a club together and get us working together, which worked out beautifully. I mean, it was a great cause that we were working for, but as it turned out, it was just terrific being able to work shoulder to shoulder with one another during that time. But the end result was that we were able to raise $1,000 for COC, $500 for Haven, and $1,000 for the bread basket. And so, yes, we dedicate and give a lot of our time by service at the bread basket, but we'd like to present you, Tom, with a check for $1,000 that will help buy more meals that we can serve at the bread basket. Tom is the treasurer of the bread basket. That will go right in the bank this afternoon, I know.
First in the pocket.
Tom Reese.
Thank you very much. I'm really very pleased that Larry invited me out today, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your efforts behind that barbecue and raising $1,000. Just to know a little bit more about me, I'm not going to go as far back as Robert did. But Robert did remind me of all the many wonderful things in my childhood that seem to be very similar to his. I got to North Carolina in 1975, a company that I worked with out of Philadelphia.
Could you speak up because we're recording this?
Oh, okay.
And this is going nationwide.
Hello. Moved here in 1975, and a company that I worked for in Philadelphia, they moved me down here and worked for that company for 12 years. Through that company, I met my wife, Gordy McKeever Reese. Her parents are Wallace, Virginia. I know a lot of you knew those wonderful people for a long time. But we met at that company in Raleigh, and we married in '79. And the outcome of that was a very wonderful time. And I had 2 children. We have John, who is our son. He's 26. And Sarah, who is our daughter, and she is 30. Sarah was the last graduate assistant for the KAL Cancer Fund, and she now works for the KAL Cancer Fund, which is located in Cary. My son, ever since 9/11, he wanted to be a fireman, and he is currently a fireman in Sanford. And very, very happy to be here and doing that first responders job. Myself, I got acquainted with the bread basket through somebody that everybody in the world knows, I think, Fletcher Rosser. Got acquainted with the bread basket through Fletcher in 1995. He asked me to serve on the board that year, and I did, and then I found out that he really wanted me to be treasurer, so that was an ulterior motive that he had. Fletcher and I switched off being treasurer. He was treasurer, I was treasurer for I don't know how many years until he passed away. And I'm still the treasurer at the bread basket currently. The bread basket, if you don't know, I'll give you a little history on that. The bread basket was formed in 1991 by a group of ladies at St. Thomas Episcopal Church. And those ladies set up a soup kitchen in the lower parish hall over there. And the first week that they did this, they had 0 clients. And then they realized that they were the only ones that knew there was a soup kitchen. So they put an ad in the newspaper, and over the next month they actually gave out about 200 meals of people that just came in and got a hot soup and a sandwich. It grew from there because there was a definite need in the community. And back then, it was costing about 75 or 80 cents a meal. And through the years, we have gone from doing 200 meals a month to doing 4,000 meals a month. And that currently runs about $2 a meal, right in there, $2 a penny. So this check is going to do 500 meals, which is really about a week's worth of good week's worth of meals at the bread basket. So we do different fundraisers like you all do to put things together, and throughout the year we raise thousands of dollars just from the community. We have corporations that just send us checks. Believe it or not, every month they send us a check, and we have individuals that send us checks every month. A great supporter of the bread basket is the church community. There's many churches that send checks, and monthly, quarterly checks, put us right in their budget for outreach, and that is fantastic. There's currently about 300 volunteers there. They're not all obviously working at the same time. There's different cooking crews, so on and so forth, but everything is on a volunteer basis, except we do have one person who we consider a contractor. That's Susan Rosenthal, and she is the glue that keeps the bread basket together. And the board greatly appreciates her, and we have renewed her contract now for 6 years running, and I don't see any end in sight of that. Because if you've ever got to know her, she's just a wonderful lady, and really set up programs over there like trading food with CUOC, things that they can't use and we can, and things that we can't use and they can, and it goes back and forth. So that's basically what she has done for this community has been really fantastic. And the bread basket itself is afloat. We're okay. We're usually raising just about as much money as we need to get by, and that's the life of a nonprofit, actually. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer.
I know that when we called and said we wanted to do something for you, and we thought it would be in the range of $1,000, and it would be mid-September, that caused some conflict, because you were planning to do a fall fundraiser, and there was a concern of duplication.
Yeah.
How did that resolve itself? Is it?
We've worked that out, and at the next November meeting, we're going to be sure that does not happen again. And I really apologize, because the response that Larry got was not a very nice response. And I've talked to that individual and a couple of others, and they do offer their apologies.
Well, but we understood it. I mean, this is something that several individuals have done this fundraiser at the end of September, early October, for years. And the view was, this isn't extra money for us, this is competition for us somehow, and we didn't like to be perceived that way.
That's true, and that was what I explained to those individuals, was that this is not a competition.
No.
This was an additional source of funds, and we did not do that barbecue, as everybody knows, but we will be doing that barbecue in the future, and if you guys want to do yours, it's not going to bother us in the future.
Well, individually, we've supported that
Sure.
for years, and we were hoping that it was going to be done again this year, but maybe not.
No, I explained to them that, we had a shot this month, and they just, weren't going to do it. So I said, well, that's fine. I said, you're just doing the organization out of additional funds. And we've had enough success in our fundraisers and our ongoing mailings and all that it's easily covered, and this is hugely appreciated. But like I said, it was some individuals that, as I said to them, you get up on your high horse and you're talking to people that are trying to help, and you're blaming them for not helping. So that doesn't get you anywhere. Yes, sir.
What amounts of food do you get consistently from area grocery stores, area restaurants? I know when we volunteered before, you would see egg crates of baked potatoes come in.
Sure.
And you'd see leftover produce, and all the desserts that you serve are from the food lines and that kind of thing. Consistently, what do you get from those sources?
We do get fruits, vegetables, and that type of thing from the grocery stores. We even get meats that are about to expire, and that date on there is when they're supposed to have it out of their case by. It doesn't mean that the next day it's going to kill you if you eat it. So those baked potatoes probably came from Davidson's.
Those from Davidson's, right? That one was.
Charles picks up twice a week.
Charles
And that's-
goes up to the food bank in Raleigh, and he picks up enough stuff that it takes 2 or 3 people 10, 15 minutes to unload it.
Yeah.
But, it's fantastic. And again, this is where Susan comes in, because a lot of the things that you see don't stay there. It goes over to CUOC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, we can't use 50 loaves of bread.
Right.
So she gets it together, and actually she uses her truck and loads it up in that truck and takes it over to CUOC. And sometimes she brings something back from CUOC that they just can't use.
I know after some events, you have prepared food, and everybody's mind, what are we gonna do with all these leftovers? Well, we just send it over to the bread basket. And they just dump it on you. I guess there's a better way that we could send it. Because I'm in the men's prayer breakfast on Wednesday mornings,
Yeah.
we typically have a lot of leftovers. And with this, but in the future, if I hear that, what's a good way to send it over? Or do you just take it however we can send it, or?
Well, normally when I run into that situation at our church where we have leftovers from whatever, that's usually a weekend thing. So I usually take it, leave it in its trays, serving trays, put it in the refrigerator, and then on Monday, I'll go over to the church and get that out of the refrigerators, and I'll take it over and give it to Susan. And then she just fits it into whatever she can, and then eventually I'll go over and I'll get the trays back.
Well, and we sent, about 100 halves over, rest of the halves, the following day. And it turns out, and I didn't realize it, but Trace has a bunch of people that will, on the weekend, help collect, or the staff collects it, and the Trace folks on Monday run it over to Susan. So
Yeah.
there's a system at a lot of places, I think.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, we even collect pizzas from the different pizza places. And they've over-made pizzas, and they're already cooked, and many a time there's stacks of pizzas over there, and they're warming them up and cutting them up, and they're gonna have pizza for lunch. We had a walk-in freezer that was donated. It was smaller than the one we currently have, but that walk-in freezer started to go, and anyway, we had a big fund drive 2 or 3 years ago just to replace that freezer, and it was a great fund drive because the whole freezer installation, everything, new equipment, renting $22,000, and we raised $25,000 to do that. So we were ahead in that respect. But that freezer is brand new, and it's about 1.5 times the old freezer size. So a lot of times we were having to go out to the is it an Imperial freezer? Yeah, we were having to go out there and put stuff in there and then go back out and bring stuff back. So now we have a lot more space, and Susan can just store it in the freezer right there and get to it as she needs it. She does a great job of rotating that frozen food in and out of there, because a lot of the times when we do pick up meats, it's not enough for a meal for 150 people. So she'll put that in the freezer and keep adding to it until there is enough to bring it all out and thaw it out and cook a meal for 150 people. And she's very good about doing that.
Tom, we really appreciate you coming. Letting us be a part of the breadbasket. I think a lot of us have lived all over the U.S. and I don't know of any other community that does what Lee County does, with the individuals and organizations that take care of people that can't necessarily take care of themselves. With the Salvation Army, with CUOC, with the breadbasket, we've got a tremendous safety net that has nothing to do with the government. And I think that's really, really a testament to this community. And thank you for the service that you've given to us.
Thank you guys for the efforts that you put forward, and thank you for this check very much.
Lisa is our Sergeant at Arms today and put up all of the signs and so Lisa, can I turn it to you?
Yes, okay, so, I have been promoted to sergeant.
Watch out, guys.
Out
of your head.
So, today is October 8th, 2015, and the visitors today are Tom Reese, who's a visitor of the club, and we don't have any visiting Rotarians that I know of, correct? Okay. We have one announcement by Robert Deloyan.
Tuesday Night Music Club plays tonight here at the Flame, right on the other side of that partition. So if you'd like to come hear music and watch baseball or football on the TVs and have food and beverage.
Hockey too.
Hockey too, okay, right over there tonight, 6:30 to 9:30.
It's tonight,
Tonight.
but you're called the Tuesday Night Music Club.
Tuesday night music.
Today's
Club.
Thursday.
We don't change our name. We don't
Okay.
change our name. Name stays the same.
They practice on Tuesdays.
Oh,
There are a couple more announcements we couldn't get to you.
I was right
You
there.
want to start, Ed?
Yeah, just real quick, I know you got a big envelope with tickets for the Golden Pot Award pot, but I also have a couple belt ticket sales I want to give to people. Please, if you can sell them, fine. If you can't, that's no problem. It's the 7th of November. I gave them out last week and there were a few of you that weren't here.
I need some more.
Pardon me?
I need more.
Okay, that's good. But that's all I had to say. And
If you're having trouble, doing things with your belt tickets, for those of you, I'll just give you a little networking tip. I'm sure I don't need to tell Howard this, but for those of you who are in like a sales business, if there are ladies on your call list that you have a reason that you need to get in touch with them, having that belt ticket is a good reason to call them. So now you can all sell your belt tickets. So that's all the announcements. Oh wait, there's one more.
Well, I have one too. And this will be a quickie again today. The Lee County Arts Council is having a Shared Abundance Dinner on November 1st. I'm going to pass these little flyers out as reminders. Hobble over here and do it. And it's the major fundraiser for the Lee County Arts Council, and I have tickets if anyone's interested, and you will still be hearing more about it.
Does anyone have any brags for a month? Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. I won't be here next week, and the reason is because my wife and I will be cruising between New York City, up the East Coast, around Nova Scotia, down the St. Lawrence to Quebec City. So I'll have more to tell you about it when I get back.
You're not gonna finish the loop? That's the loop, where you end up going down to Mississippi. And
Oh, no, I'm not going that far. I gotta get back
Two
here.
brags. A minor one is I celebrated my 80th birthday recently.
All right, Derek.
I was working on a fabulous party with a lot of family and old friends, and it was just wonderful. Made it all worthwhile. The major brag is my beloved Cubs won a tremendous game last night.
Did you tell Dave Schwartz about that?
Yeah, we've touched base on that. I gotta tell you, I was a 10-year-old boy in Chicago when they were last in the World Series in 1945. So this is a big deal, because they spent the last 60 years down in the Snowers. And that's worth $5.
Oh, all right.
Well, actually, I have one too. I was gonna do the same thing, but, and I don't mean to one-up you, but this is one of the happiest days of my life. I actually cried last night.
Oh.
So I'm gonna give $20.
Oh, very
And this year, every time the Cubs make it to a different round, I'm gonna give another $20.
That's cool. You know, I'll match you.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin's out of uniform.
I'm out of uniform. First of all, I got $1 because I'm officially retired. And the sheriff gave me $2 saying he's glad he got rid of me.
Another brag.
Yeah, well, my first brag is that I'm able to hobble across the room and back on my new hip. And the other brag is the second hip's going to get done on December 17th.
Wow. Guys, boom, bro.
One more. We're never gonna get out of here, right? But,
Here we're making money. Go ahead.
That's true. Our youngest granddaughter called us the other night and said, she's a dancer, she's 12 years old, 5 nights a week she dances. She said, I'm Clara in the Nutcracker, which is a big deal.
Wow.
We were gonna go out and see our oldest granddaughter, who's the captain of the soccer team, play soccer, it's her senior year. Now we're gonna go at Christmas so we can watch both of them. We go every other year to California, this time it'll be 2 years in a row. So.
That's a big deal.
It's not a brag, but I want to apologize to you and everybody here that you caught me off guard and I wasn't quite sure what you were thinking when you mentioned October the 29th or 28th or whatever, that Thursday. Let's do another costume thing, dress as your favorite character. I'd love to see what you're thinking whenever you wear it. Okay? Here, regular Thursday.
Yep. Okay. And maybe can we get Gina back, get her off the plane that day and
Oh, we'll
have her
see.
come dressed?
You can call.
Who can get in touch with Gina?
Here, he will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See if she'll come and lead us again. Okay.
Okay, well, next week, please make sure to bring more visitors and have lots of announcements because I will be starting the farms again. And if I keep making this much money, band might lose a job.
We're band, yeah. Let's hear it for Lisa.
Would someone like to lead us in the 4-way test?
Why don't you?
Okay. The 4-way test are the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, all concerned. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, who's voting for Lisa?
Sergeant Major, all right. I like the sound of that. Get some stripes for the jacket. Yeah, I know.
That's good. That is a lot.